Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is Dr. Sheri. Yes, with Power Tables, CEO of My Best Life Academy, coach, consultant, author, and speaker. And listen, we are so excited to bring Power Tables to you. Listen, this is where we bring lunch. You get to bring the lunch, and well, I get to bring the tea. So here we are today. And I am drinking an herbal blend of tea today, a green tea. Very good, very soothing. This is the tea that's best for us in the morning. Kind of gets everything started a little bit, very gentle on the system. Also, a great palate cleanser after a meal. So, yeah, keep your green tea near. And if you want to add just a little honey, a little lemon, also a little ginger, just to kind of tighten it up for the season, a wonderful blend to have. So yeah, tell everybody come on in the room, bring their lunch. Again, you get to bring the lunch. I get to bring the tea. And we're going to share for just a few moments. I know it's been a few minutes. If you guys have noticed us, we've been running and gunning. Last week was a phenomenal time with FM Express, that is Form to Market Express, with the ladies over at Heart of a Woman International Ministries. Let me tell you, they did the doggone thing. So you guys need to go to my YouTube channel, check out a part of that. We gave you a little bit of a teaser. We got some clips circulating, and I'm telling you, it was just a setup for what's coming in 2024. Go ahead, pay attention, set your calendars, go ahead and set the date, do all the stuff you got to do, but you better be in the room on the next go around. It could be the setup for your next level of wealth and opportunity. So you don't want to miss it. But hey, I got to say hello to my sisters coming in here. I see you, Minister Deborah. She's always so phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining. Let me tell you, she's over at Divine Personal Care. And we want to share a little something with you as we have some events still coming up in the next week, the next month. One of those is talking about revive. The word revive. I know we hear it so much, and sad to say, we had to hear it a little bit more often than maybe we even cared to do so when we were going through the height of the pandemic. By the way, the pandemic itself has been declared no more, but evidence of COVID-19 is definitely around, as well as its variants. So we want all of you to be very safe, take the necessary precautions that you need to take. And this is coming from the 3M Diva: medicine, ministry, and mindset. Trust me, I know all levels. So from that medical side, the medicine side, take care of yourselves. Do what you need to do. Wear the mask if you have to wear it. Perfectly fine. Everybody gets to make a choice for themselves, but make a choice in whatever you do to remain healthy and keep those around us that we love, and perhaps those who have some compromised immune systems that maybe we're not aware of, to keep them as safe as well. So we want you to do all those things in this season. So revive, yeah, that word became very present for us, very evident for us as we went through the height of the COVID season. And I began to think about that in light of some upcoming events, because many times, I'm a church girl. We hear the word revival, and we've got revival coming up, yeah, in the city. Tell you a little bit more about that one. But listen, as you think about that word, revive has a few meanings. Let's talk about the first one. The first one that comes to mind, of course, when we think about the COVID season, is the fact that you're bringing someone back to life. That means, one, they were dead. They were out of here. They might have been tombstone dead. They might have been gone to the light freshly dead, but dead. Okay. They had to use certain resuscitative measures to get them back. We call them the ABCs that we go through: airway, breathing, circulation, how we need to stabilize that medically and to bring somebody back. But we saw a lot of that in the COVID season, needing to do that. And some of our best efforts, well, they fell a little bit short. But revive in that sense meant that they came back to life. They came back to the living. Thankfully, we have some people walking around the earth who did just that. They are what we call survivors. They made it. They made it. They are survivors. They had a life and death experience. And thankfully, life was more powerful than death in that setting. And so they are here today. They grace our dinner tables. They still come to our celebrations. They get ready for festivities and fiestas that we have coming up at the end of the year, but they are still with us. Why? There was a word called revive, still in circulation. Let's bring that a little bit more, not just from the concrete connotation of it, but how about the metaphorical connotation of it? Sometimes we're bringing things back to life that were dead. Maybe it was a relationship that we thought was dead. And here it is back to life. Yeah, we have beautiful sisters and brothers around who are smiling everywhere because a relationship that they thought was no more or would not be is now alive. Yeah, maybe it was a job opportunity. It seemed like it wasn't coming back around this time. It was the dead. It was dead. The opportunity was no more. But guess what? It came back to life. It was resuscitated with the necessary means, and now it's here. Okay, so we're talking about those things that come back to life. That means they come back to vitality. They are breathing, they are with us, they are real, they are tangible. And so we can take this revive into a metaphorical sense. Maybe you weren't there, and hopefully you weren't there in that COVID season where it was so rough and we needed that word revive. But maybe you're in a season where you need some emotional things to be revived, where you need some financial things to be revived, where you need some wealth things to be revived. Okay. So it's a lot of things that happen. It's a lot of things that happen. And so we want you to pay attention to those things as well. What do you need to be revived in this season? Metaphorically, that means coming back to the living, breathing, existing world. What is that? Do you know what it is? Have you been able to formulate the words? Have you been able to write it? Because if you can't do any of those things, we certainly can't affirm their existence. So when we speak of revive in the sense of bringing something from the dead back to life, do we even know what that is? And sad to say, it's a terrible thing to not know what's dead in our lives and what may need to be living again or revived. It's a terrible thing to not know. When we're going through settings, and I'm just speaking from my medical background for just a moment, we're going through some catastrophic events, and maybe there is more than one injury. The first thing that they ask us to do is to go through and to see who is alive or who has a pulse or who can essentially be revived. We go through and we find the people who may be slightly injured, but they're breathing, they're talking, they're with us. We assess them, we triage them very quickly to find out if there's anything life threatening. And they go into a separate category from those who may need immediate attention. That is, who can we revive? And then when we go through and we make all of the necessary assessments, the triages, and we work on the people who need the immediate attention. For those who actually make it, we are so excited, we're thrilled. They go into one category. But for others who did it, well, now we're at a point where we're not talking about any more rescue. It's just a recovery mode. Who can we recover? And that's a whole different connotation. We don't like hearing those, but sometimes that's what it is, not only in life, but metaphorically. Metaphorically mean, why would you want to recover something that can't be revived? Well, sometimes it gives us what we need called closure so that we can move on to the next chapter of our lives. Do we have things in our life that maybe should not be revived, but they should be recovered? I just want you to think about that for a moment. I'm going to sip on this tea because it's really good. So, in that recovery stage, what are we learning? We're learning that sometimes we need to bring closure or an end an end to a season in our lives. And sometimes we need that before we can move forward to the next thing. Sad to say, we have some of us walking around with metaphorical, excuse me, emotional, psychological corpses on our back because nobody ever brought closure to a thing. They just kept carrying it, they kept packing it. That's what happened. Okay. That's not our season. If it can't be revived, then allow it to be recovered and bring closure and move on. But if it's something that needs to be revived, allow it to be revived and have life in its season. Not only does revive mean that we bring something back from the dead to the living, sometimes we bring the next thing. We bring something back to awareness. Have you ever had that fainting lady that I don't care what happens? This is the person that always faints in our family at a celebration, at, news that's either happy, exciting news, sometimes things that just kind of astound us, but everybody else manages to stay on their feet except for this one person. Yeah, we have those people. I remember we had some people like that in our family, and I didn't know as a little kid what it meant, but someone would go in their purse and say, okay, Aunt Ethel passed out again. Like, again, okay. And they would come out of their purse with smelling salt. For those of you who are about my age or older, you remember what that was and what that is. And they just wave it under their nose. And before you knew it, they were coughing, clearing their throat, and they were back with us. Yeah, they weren't dead. They were no longer conscious or conscientious of the world around them. And so they had to be brought back to awareness, to a conscious state, an oriented state to know what was going on. Yeah. Sometimes we got to have that too. That type of reviving that says you have to be brought back to awareness to what's actually going on around you. We can become so disengaged. Yeah. And we can become so, our focus or inattentive to the things that are going on around us immediately that may need our undivided attention, that we're walking around like zombies, just totally clueless. And so someone has to wave that smelling salt under our nose and go, get back to the real world. This is really happening. I understand that we don't want to deal with bad news all the time. And my goodness, we have so much going on. Wars and rumors of wars and fightings and all types of things, controversies, etc., that we encounter day in and day out, not to mention the constant notifications and buzzers and alerts and all of those things that come in through our various devices. We are constantly at a heightened alert stage that sometimes we just want to check out mentally and emotionally. Yeah, we want to. We want to check out, even sometimes relationally, on some things that need our attention. But guess what? Somebody has to be bold enough to say, they're not gone yet. All they need is reviving. I've got the smelling salt. And they need to wave it underneath our nose and say, girl, come on back. Bruh, come back. It's going to be okay. But you got to be awake for this one. You got to be alert. You have to know what's going on. You can't check out now. There is too much riding on this thing. Okay. I've been in those rooms where we've had those beautiful moms coming in, and some of them just couldn't make it there early to get their epidurals and all of the pain meds that perhaps they've already signed consent forms for. But we have to make an assessment. We have to triage that situation every time and say, we could do this, but you are so far along in your labor and delivery moment that if we do this, this could hurt your baby. It could potentially cause harm. That was going to be good for you X number of hours or minutes ago. That window has passed. And now you have to be awake for this one. We're going to do as much as we can to keep you as comfortable as we can. But we've got to get this baby here. That is, barring a C-section, you got to be awake, sister. You got to be wide awake. And everything in you has to be awake to get this baby here. That means I can give you nothing. that will cause you to not sense as much sensation in that lower area as I would like to. Why? You are too far along in the process. Sometimes that's what life says to us. And I think you moms can attest to that, that you're so far along in about to birth or see this thing come to pass, that if we gave you the anesthesia now, you would not be awake for it, one. And the other thing is, you could jeopardize the future that you can almost touch, you can almost taste. It would do more harm then at this point than it would do good. And so we hold back that thing that can make it convenient and comfortable for you. What am I saying right now? Sometimes the revival measure is to keep you uncomfortable, to keep you inconvenient, so that you don't miss the future you have worked so hard for. I know that's so hard to take right now. I get it. It's so hard to take because some of us are in uncomfortable spots. We're being very inconvenienced. It seems like no one is paying attention to the pain that we're carrying, that no one's paying attention to the discomfort that we're in, that everybody is walking around oblivious. But guess what? Some of us have amazing caretakers who know the drill. And they are saying, girl, you can do this. You can push. You got this. You're going to make it. And your future is just about ready for you to hold. I can't mess it up by trying to give you something that's going to jeopardize the future you've worked for. I got to revive you, okay? This is a revival method to withhold certain things. Yeah, we could push up and down on that lady's chest that's passed out, but that's not going to help the situation. It's probably break some ribs. She doesn't need that. She's breathing. She's just not in the awareness or oriented to what's going on. So we got to get you back focused, attentive. Yeah. And very much so aware of what's coming your way. All the good. That's reviving. And that's revival. I just drink a little bit more tea because this is real good. So we have the reviving where we bring you back from the dead to life with resuscitative measures. We have the reviving that brings you back to consciousness or awareness or being alert or oriented to a current situation, just back to the world itself. And then we have the reviving, the last one, that brings you back into the now. It says, stop living in the past. It says, let go of old things that have already let go of you. Okay, it's coming into my battery, I think getting a little bit low, so bear with me here for just a moment. Let me see what we got going on. We got it here. Yeah, there we go. We're good. Apologize for that one. And that may have been some of that cutting out that we had here with the internet. So thank you, ladies and gents, for bearing with me in this. This technology is so sensitive. But I think that brings us back to where we are with the third level of revival. And that third level of revival says that we have to bring you into the now. My computer, I like to use things that, just go on the glitch for a second. My computer was giving me signals with my face doing all types of things over here, probably worse on your side. And it was saying, what I need now, come on somebody, is not what I had before. I need something right now. I need to be connected to the now. And girl, you're about to run out of juice, waiting on what was past stored up. You see, every laptop that we have, no matter what it is, it has storage for energy so that you can keep going for a while. But after a while, that storage, that energy system wears itself down. And it says, I need for you to connect me to them now. Ooh, that's good. Oh, that is so, so good. Oh my gosh, that's good. I almost got to say it again. Oh, I'm going to say it again. It says, I need you to connect to the now. Everything you had stored up from the past has served you well. It has gotten you to a moment right now, but it cannot carry you beyond this moment. You are going to have to connect to the now. You need reviving, girl. You need reviving, bruh. Let me tell you, you need something to plug you into this moment called the present. It's a gift. Yeah, that's why we call it the present. It's a gift. And sad to say, we have some of us that unless we are revived, unless somebody has resuscitative measures, unless they speak a word of life that brings us out of our past into our now, we're going to miss everything in this present moment. And the future is off the table for discussion. Because the interesting thing is that if we don't have a now, we certainly don't have a future. Ooh, girl, I know. I know that was just hot. I know. I know. I know. One of the slogans in my business is that I take you from your now to your next. So next doesn't happen without now. We have to have a now. And many times it requires a reviving us from our past, reviving us from our used to be, reviving us from the way it used to be, the way we used to do it, the way so and so did it. No, what is it in the now that says you need to be here? I need to be here. What is that? If you don't know, you need reviving. Yeah, that's what's going on. So I wanted to share this with you. We've got just a few minutes. I don't know if you have questions or what's going on here, but I know that this is so important. It is so important. We have to be here for the now. And if I've frozen, I'm still here with you. Worry about it not. Just place your questions in the chat and we're going to get this done. And hopefully I look good on that side because it looks like I was frozen with a serious moment on this side. We got to learn to laugh about these things. We just have to. So, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any comments? Because I see you all putting in your comments and all of those doing it. And that's what we're doing on this side. We're putting those things in because I see you coming in here with glad to hear about the comments here from Sister Yolanda. Good to see you here. My great friend and sister over in Alabama. Yes, Dr. Erica Jones Sheffield. Got to get connected, sis. And I think you do that so well. This is the Can You Relate coach? Yeah, all of that. All of that. Got to learn to let go. So, as we are learning to let go in this season, Mhm. Okay, I think we may be here. Let's see. Start a new one.